What is going on, everybody? It is episode 949 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary, and we are delighted to tell you Tate is back this week.
I am back. Hello, everyone. How's it going? Tate Brown here, holding it down. It's Tate Tuesday is back. We've returned. I've been like all over the place on the schedule, so sorry for the, faking everyone out.
You've been pretty busy, huh?
Oh yeah, like got a lot of irons in the fire, so to speak. But
very
I'm happy
busy
to be back home. I think this is like the home base, is the PCC studio.
Well, that was like before you became a big shot and took over for the morning show.
Yeah, before you started
big timing us.
Before I started getting like 30 likes on Twitter.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like 30 likes once in a while. That's a good thing.
Dude, it hits. Everyone's like, oh, social media validation. It's not about that. I'm like, dude, getting 30 likes. It's like 30 people like me. And that propels me for months. Like I could live off of that.
It's like what's this? They're always like when the grandma gives you like one compliment and guys have to live on that one compliment for like the next 50 years.
Like one tweet gets like 50 likes and you're like,
That's
I could live for years
my
off of this.
strategy with haters for a while now has just been to ask them to like me.
Yeah. That works a lot, I think.
If you're going to hate, at least like the
Just
post.
say like, please like me.
Yeah.
It totally works. No, in all
it
seriousness,
disarms the discussion. It completely disarms.
It's true. Yeah. No, but I'm happy to be back. I'm glad to be here with the PCC fam. I love these people.
We got a bunch of stuff to get into today, guys. So please, before we get started, hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel. If you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already, please and thank you. Remember, as always, to share the episodes, the segments out with everybody in your life that you both love and hate. The more people that you share the show with, the faster this show can grow. So thank you guys so much for that. So what are we getting into today? We got a bunch of stuff to talk about. Number one, of course, being, if you remember last year, Coca-Cola ran their very first AI-made Christmas ad, which they have now removed the ability, removed. They have now made even worse in the second year. You see this?
I don't remember if we talked about the first Coca-Cola ad that they put out last Christmas. A lot of people thought it was really creepy and poorly done.
Yeah.
But they promised it's going to be different this year.
It's like the Will Smith eating spaghetti thing. Like he just, it's going to get better over time, and eventually the Coca-Cola bottle will be indistinguishable from something shot live action. So we're going to talk about that. I think it's interesting because Coke is like that first company that was just unabashedly like, yeah, it's AI. Like, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah, I think that they're just ignoring the backlash because they don't want to spend money on actual artists.
Yeah, that's what it is. So we're going to talk about that. Also, believe it or not, gentlemen, Teen Vogue seems to be shutting down, and I'm sure you guys are devastated.
Melania claims another scalp. Enough.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying that Melania was behind this. It's all a big conspiracy. So they're not shutting down, though. They're on the path toward getting shut down.
Like they're being consolidated?
Near future. Yeah, they're getting, their website is going to be no more. There have been mass layoffs, and basically it's because they weren't able to make money by writing about
Karl Marx.
They're gonna have to,
Karl Marx, yeah.
They'll have to consolidate to one grade, so it'll be like 8th grade Vogue or something. Because the teen is too big of a,
I had Teen Vogue when I was like in middle school, and even then it was still kind of falling off, but even more so in recent years.
Nothing would recapture the magic of Sports Illustrated Kids. Now that was a publication.
That was a real thing?
Oh, it was a thing. It was like everyone would come to school, and there was like, it would come with a poster that you would rip out. So on my wall, the entire wall, it looked like a boxing gym. Like I just had posters that they always, and it was always like third-rate players too, so you would have like Chauncey Billups on your wall, and
they charge too much for the good players.
Yeah, once in a while they'd throw you a bone and throw LeBron in there, but generally it would be like the backup point guard for the Celtics, and you're like, oh, all right.
20 here from Gordon Shumway. Happy Tuesday, B. Rhett, Mary, Queen of Scoffs, and Donovan. Donovan?
That's you, Tate Donovan.
Tate Donovan?
I'm just going to call you Tate Donovan.
What's that about?
I've heard the name. Why do I know that name?
Tate Donovan is an actor, I believe, and he's very smarmy. I hope they're not calling you smarmy. Look it up. Is he an actor?
Yeah, he was an actor. Yeah.
He's the guy from the OC?
He may have been from the OC. I just briefly opened.
And you think he was in Damages?
He was in Hercules.
He's
How do you know
Hearts too.
stuff like this?
This is very like esoteric knowledge.
Hold on, let me double check. We're doing it live, but I'm gonna just double check and make sure that this is the guy.
It's very nice to see
me see
males.
here.
Oh, he dated Sandra
Yeah, it
Bullock
is.
and Jennifer Aniston. Wow.
He was a big thing in the 90s, right? But he has this look where it's like, if you need to hire a guy who looks smarmy, this is the guy you hire.
This is great PR for
He's
Tate.
kind of like if you wanted Neil McDonough, but somehow looks less evil. Like smarmy, but not as evil.
He has a very sinister look to him. So from the physiognomy perspective, it's not a great look for Tate's.
No, not really.
Looking at the dating history, this is huge PR. I'm very happy with this. Yeah, because there's been a big problem in the Tate community where there's two problems. A, Andrew Tate's meteoric rise has really screwed with our SEO.
Yeah.
And then B, it's also primarily women that have that name. And now that we
It's
have the
true.
meteoric rise of Tate McRae,
Right.
now it's only going to be a girl's name going on
Right.
like in perpetuity.
I'm
so
actually
like when I'm
a
40,
Tate McRae stan, so
right? So when I'm 40, it's going to be only women named. It's going to be a big problem. I'm not.
Brett's a McRacist.
I am.
Are
That's
you
me.
really?
I
You're
am.
racist?
I'm Team Tate McRae all the way. So we got a bunch of other stuff. We're going to talk about celebrities who want to. They're all endorsed by Klaus Schwab. They're going to tell you
Let's
to
go.
eat
They're
the bugs
soldiers
straight.
of the World Economic Forum.
They get their letters, they get their marching orders directly from Klaus Schwab. They're telling you to eat the bugs and live in the pod. We got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. If you guys are ready, we can go. Mary, you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Tate?
I'm born ready.
He's ready. I'm not even going to let him answer. Let's go.
In light of Jennifer Lawrence's recent comments about her regrets about press tours and how much she hates being quoted in interviews and all of her cringe moments throughout the years, people have been talking about the fact that press tours for movies and shows in general have pretty much become humiliation rituals. And the prime example of that that's getting circulated on the timeline right now is Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons, who are in the process of promoting Bugonia at the moment. Here is the headline from the New York Times. Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons have a F-ass bob off. I can't say that because we're on YouTube, but it's true, I guess. But they're in the kitchen, like, giggling together and, like, seemingly making burgers. I don't know what's happening or what that has to do with the movie that they're promoting right now.
Yeah.
But they're basically just trying to get celebrities to talk about the movie while doing zany, quirky activities.
Yeah.
Like, that's the point of the press tour, is just getting viral moments, not actually asking insightful questions or getting insightful answers.
Well, I mean, you never know. Like, they could ask the most insightful question in the world, but some celebrities are just kind of husks and they don't actually have a whole lot of personality.
Oh, no, but they believe themselves to have intense depth. So,
Yeah.
of course, they're going to offer you something.
It's so funny because wrestlers will talk about this all the time about how awful it is to do the press tours, because like the average newscaster knows nothing about wrestling, so they just have to go in there and it's kind of not humiliating in the sense, but they feel like they need to protect their business and they don't want to be talked down to. And it's like, imagine being put. That's like why John Cena was so good at what he did, is like he could go in and disarm like a room full of people that know nothing about wrestling. Right?
Disarm them by...
Like disarm, but with charm, and
Oh.
like he's just he comes across as a very all before the bowing to China stuff. Like he was a very likable guy, so he could disarm the audience and
Right.
disarm the people he was talking to.
I feel like the approach to interviewing celebrities changing to like getting them to do zany whatever. There was like two watershed moments. Was one just Jimmy Fallon, like that was his specialty, and then B, it was that specific interview. It was that black British lady who interviewed Gosling and Harrison Ford when they were doing the Blade Runner, and the clips went everywhere because they were like drinking during it, and it was like everyone was like, wow, we're really seeing the side of Harrison Ford we've never seen before. And then after that, I remember every interviewer, they were like, yeah, we should drink, and like it was this whole thing.
I don't remember that specific interview for, you said it was for Blade Runner 2049?
Yeah. And yeah, is this black lady, I can't remember her name. She was like a black British lady, and she had like this really funny laugh. And so it worked once. That came out once.
And the interesting thing about the style of interview is just that they're drinking.
Well, it was like part of it, and like nothing. They didn't actually discuss the movie. It was just banter and whatever.
okay.
And that works once. That's like funny the one time it happens. And then I remember every interview after that for like every press junket was oh, how cool is this that we're not taking the interview seriously?
Right.
And it was like once the actors were conscious that that was happening, it totally ruined the like what made that interview so funny.
I think it's also because the interviewer class is vying for their own star power, and they're trying to leverage their own podcasts into acting careers oftentimes.
Yeah.
So they're not just interviewing the celebrities because that's their line of work. They're interviewing the celebrities so they can climb the ladder. And Hot Ones is a much maligned example of these sorts of zany interviews because, of course, the point is like, oh my gosh, like they're trying to talk about the movie, but like they're crying because like spicy wings. And one of the replies said, it's kind of wild how the Hot Onesification of press tours means that promoting a movie is now a marathon humiliation ritual. One reply also said, I recently spoke with the star of an Oscar-contending movie who recalled breaking down in tears at the end of a press day because there were so many interviews and the questions were so dumb.
Yeah, it was that, and it was Zach Galifianakis doing the Between Two Ferns, where it was like, how funny is this that we're taking something that's so normal and making it ironic? And then every single interview was trying to like develop their niche of like, how can we throw this celebrity off? And I'm like, that must be torture.
It's emotional labor.
Or chicken shop date, or or you ask celebrity questions while they play with dogs. Literally, everybody has to have their thing.
Everyone has their own thing. Like that was GQ has the "What's in my bag" thing.
This is what made Brett Cooper successful in the early days because they did stuff like that with her on her channel, where they kind
copied
of
the format.
they copied those formats, and it was novel to see somebody in the space do that. But that's like
get to know the host of a podcast. Yeah. We're talking about a movie press tour where supposedly the point of the press tour is convincing people to go see the movie. And oftentimes they're not even talking about anything related to the movie. And I also wanted to mention this recent comment from Harris Dickinson. He starred opposite Nicole Kidman in this movie that came out last year, I believe, called Baby Girl. And the premise is basically that Nicole Kidman is this high-powered, older female executive boss girl. And he is the younger employee who seduces her, and they have some sort of weird, like, dom-sub relationship. And he obviously knows the target demographic for this movie is a bunch of horny old women. So he said, I get a lot of women saying things that are deeply inappropriate. When we were doing press, there were some situations that were completely unacceptable. You're expected to just laugh it off, and that's why I struggled with the experience. He didn't go into detail, though, about what exactly happened.
It's like when they would ask Justin Bieber inappropriate questions.
I guess it's different when it's Justin Bieber and he's a child, but still.
But the point is that they would
there's a lack of boundaries.
They ask those questions of regular celebrities, too.
And it's because there is this weird parasocial thing where if the podcast interviewer acts like they're best friends with the actor or actress, it makes the person watching feel like, oh, we're all like bantering together. It makes them feel included in the experience, when prior to that, like in the middle of maybe the studio system of Hollywood, journalists who interviewed stars were under very strict guidelines from the studios. If they didn't follow it to a T, they were blacklisted. So the unfortunate circumstance of that time period was that they couldn't challenge stars with any questions that might make them look bad. And then that changed, and hence the whole industry of PR teams became a thing in the vacuum that studio systems left behind.
Well, that's still there to an extent. They did this with Joker in 2019. They started to ask him about incels.
But there were like 3 stages. It was like the studio system running entertainment media, followed by tabloids making celebrities look like fools and asking them at times like really inappropriate questions and humiliating them. And then the 3rd stage is where we're at now with social media. And it's like all about churning out short form content that means nothing.
What could be clipped. But that in 2019, they were doing this with Joker, where reporters were like, so do you think your movie's going to help stage an incel uprising? And Warner Brothers is like, we're just not going to let you into the press briefings anymore.
I think like the 2 losers from this new arrangement are the people that are actually serious about movies, obviously, because they're just not extracting any information about the movie.
Letterboxed people.
Like they're just watching just these awful interviews and they're not getting any information out of it whatsoever. And then B is like the older actors who like remembered when these were normal.
Yeah.
Like how annoying would it be to be like Nicole Kidman and now you just have to, because you know if you cause a stir about one of these, you're gonna become public enemy number one. So she just has to sit there through these humiliation rituals
so
she can
go
promote
on, call her daddy or whatever.
Yeah, so she can promote her dumb. When she remembers 10 years ago when you would just sit down and actually just talk about the movie.
Or like Barbara Walters would ask you if you've ever done drugs in front of your children. Like, I miss that in a way. And it brings up a question of what it even means to be media trained these days. I want to show you a couple of examples of what it looks like now. Here's Mia Goth explaining how she built chemistry with Jacob Elordi while they were working together.
I would like give him like vitamin C and like ginger shots, or I would send him a pizza and like trying to just like look after him and just trying to do that off screen so that by the time we met on camera, that kind of dynamic was already taking place, I guess. So this want to protect was already kind of taking place.
She would send him DoorDash.
She's like on the verge of tears describing Uber Eats.
And then we have another example of a Gen Z actress named Ivy Wolk, who is relatively notorious for having a scattered digital footprint. And this is an example of her on the red carpet completely defying everything that we're used to seeing from celebrities.
I like that her username is Wolk Mind Virus.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Role that you hope that you get to play one day. A specific character or just a niche?
Oh God, I mean, I would like love to play a lead in something again. I've like found a nice niche as a character actress, but you know, the glamour of being able to play a lead in something is quite nice. Maybe not even just for the artistic fulfillment, but what it could mean for my public image and reception. And I'll be honest there. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think about like Zendaya's transition from Disney Channel to Euphoria, and it's like all she had to do was like hit the pookie, you know? She smoked a little crack, she like let her hair get ratty, and then all of a sudden she's in custom Valentino on a red carpet, and it's like, I bought this on Depop, you know? So it's like, maybe somebody hand me the crack pipe, maybe I can play like a homeless pregnant teen hooker on crack, and like my whole world opens up and I don't have to live in such a piece of shit apartment. Type of
She's so quirky. She's so quirky.
So, like,
all right, Lord Farquaad, relax.
All of the
Jeez.
comments are just obsessed with this style of interview answer that she gave, because it's like, oh my gosh, like all the media training goes out the window when Gen Z takes over.
Yeah, they always do that.
I don't know
love
if
it.
I agree with that.
They're like, their world's not ready for Zoomers, like Zoomer media training. And I'm like, oh no, this is just it's clip farming IRL. That's
Like,
all
I
this
don't know
is.
if I like that. Yeah, she posted the clip herself. Obviously, that was what it was intended for. I don't know if I'm pro like throwing media training out the window.
It's supposed to be like, I've got nothing to lose, so I'm just gonna say whatever I want. That's the kind of image that she's trying to portray.
I honestly believe that she is mentally disturbed. So hers is probably authentic, but like it's really funny seeing the Zoomers that are emerging that are clearly normal, well-adjusted people trying to do this shtick. And it's just so awkward and weird.
They're trying to put on this like Courtney Love persona that's totally inauthentic.
Instead, it just comes off as like Amy Winehouse. Like, it's just like a cry for help.
Even then, like with the Amy Winehouse thing, it was novel at the time. It's not like celebrities or musicians dying young was anything new, but at least it felt more akin to the time. Whereas now, it's just everything feels so fake and planted.
Fake and gay.
Yeah, it
It's
really
fake and
is.
gay.
All right, let's go. We got more to get into today. We get a 20 on Rumble from Urka. Says, happy Tate Tuesday. This Thanksgiving, I'm thankful for PCC being a daily podcast and for Mary's Ghost Blend. Love it in a latte with homemade cinnamon creamer. Not too sweet, perfectly seasonal.
Well, thank you for the free shilling. Go to castbrew.com and get yourself Mary's Ghost Blend. There is currently a discount code for Thanksgiving, actually, Turkey20. 20% off.
There you go. Lay it in there.
Cinnamon.
There we go.
Yeah. So a new survey has shown that Gen Z employees hate working with other Gen Z employees, and they actually know how annoying they are, and they can't really help it. I assumed that, you know, they would have said they hate working with older generations because they feel condescended to, they feel preached to, they feel misunderstood and demeaned and underestimated. But actually, according to the stats, Gen Z doesn't want to work with other Gen Z.
You know, if you look up Gen Z just as a blanket term on Google, if you look up any of the generations, usually what you get is stuff related to work and employment, which is where you get stuff like this. But almost always when you look up Gen Z, it's something like how to get along with Gen Z, how to turn Gen Z into like an A+ employee. It's like some handbook for some guy who has to work with a bunch of Gen Z employees, teaching them how to get the most out of their, you know, younger hires. Like,
it's all about adapting for the new generation instead of imposing any rules on their conduct and their work ethic. We have to cater to them because they grew up in this new world. Gen Z is cringing at the prospect of working with other Gen Zers, continuing a trend among some workers in which they dislike working with the younger generation. So they feel the same way that the old boomers do. And this is according to a survey of 2,000 Gen Zers, 31% of whom feel they're the most annoying to work with, compared to just 20% who said that baby boomers are the worst. I guess that the baby boomers were the runner-up.
well, I mean, you'd think that the baby boomers would be the ones that you're annoyed by outside of work.
Right.
Yeah. Or
No,
rather the customers, they dislike the
Yeah.
boomer customers, not the coworkers.
I remember working retail, like working with boomers was great because they were like competent, kind of knew what they were doing. And then the Zoomers, it was like, I remembered having to call our district, because I was like an assistant manager, calling our district manager being like, yeah, such and such, he can't come into work today. He's out, he's sick. He's like, okay, I have to fill out this form for his sickness. Like what specifically is going on? And I was like, yeah, it's just like a mental health thing.
Oh my god!
It was because he lost his geek bar and he was freaking out and he like called me like, dude, I can't come in. I don't know where my geek bar is.
Have his anxiety pen.
That's something that feels like it's a product of like my generation being the last one to find that to be ridiculous.
Yeah, well, you know, it is what it is. But also, I think part of the dynamic of why Zoomers don't want to work with other Zoomers is because we like the leeway of being the young gun in the office. And then when you have
So 20 from Pop Culture Junkie says, had a friend who was a, quote, talent minder for celebrities on junkets. She quit the business after 6 months.
I would love that job. In fact, I would just ruin careers.
I would
with that
love
job.
that. No, but it's true. It's like
So they want to be like babyed, and if they're
Yeah.
not the baby in the office, they have to actually like
right.
get up to industry standard.
Yeah, it's a big, there's like inner Zoomer competition. Well, yeah, me and Mary, we came in and we thought each other stole each other's posts.
Okay, we have to explain this because since we're talking about Gen Z coworkers not getting along,
It's true. We almost
we are
fought.
Gen Z coworkers.
We almost went to blows.
Yeah, it got real for a second. But recently, both of us had the same exact concept for a meme and posted it at different times. Tate, I'll give you credit. You posted it first. It was a reference to a TV show that Elder Zoomers love called Sweet Life on Deck.
What a show.
A spin-off
What a
of
show.
Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Only Elder Zoomers think that this is a relevant cultural reference. We both did it. And I saw your post and thought, Tate stole my idea. What the hell? And you thought the same
I
thing
thought
when
the
you
same
saw
thing.
mine. And
we were both scandalized.
We were both talking shit behind each other's backs.
And in typical Zoomer fashion, neither of us confronted the other.
Yeah, I put it out in the open. I wanted to just
Right.
address that. And now we have an understanding.
The reality is the Zoomer zeitgeist is just so limited. There's like 4 like Disney Channel
You're right,
shows we all
though.
reference.
There's a lot of intra-Zoomer
Yeah.
competition, so that might be one of the reasons. And in this survey, they had Gen Zers rank the most annoying generations to work with. It was Boomers at 20%, Gen X 14%, Millennials 12%, Gen Z 31% in the lead, and 23% said they love working with everyone, which is
No, that's not
a lie.
real. That's not real.
That's a lie. They were just
cap.
worried that the survey wasn't anonymous. And the rest of this is, pretty predictable, except for this one part. It turns out that Gen Z thinks they're the happiest generation.
That doesn't sound
That's the
real.
only part of this survey that surprised me.
What's the sample size?
59 is 2,000.
Whoa.
59% of the Gen Zers surveyed here believe that they are happier than previous generations,
There's
which
no
is
way.
insane to me.
What do they
because
sample, Mormons?
Not only does that
No,
like
they asked them the question like right after the Adderall hit in the morning.
that like totally makes no sense if we look at the reported happiness of Gen Z. According to their own self-reports, they're
Yeah.
very miserable. But also, like they think that the older generations are grumpy, I guess.
That's crazy, because in my experience, like, Zoomers will just trauma dump on each other in the office.
It says Gen Z knows it's all about good health, strong relationships, and a sense of purpose. That's not true.
It's not true, and that's definitely not unique.
Well, it's the idea that they get their purpose from work, because that seems like more of a boomer thing, where boomers had their identity wrapped up in their place of employment and I guess also their family, but mainly like a lot of people back then had their identity wrapped up in working at the same company for 20 or 30 years.
If they sampled what I call LinkedIn Americans, and that could be the case, because like LinkedIn, like working at Deloitte in Manhattan, those people do. They'll like be ironic and coy about it, but they generally do find their value in like their resume and everything. But like, yeah, your average Zoomer, you know, like that I grew up around was constantly like, I want to die.
Yeah, when we were in Detroit for your wedding, Brett, I saw a Deloitte headquarters in the city, and I was like, oh, so Deloitte chooses which campus you work at. Can you imagine working at Deloitte in Detroit?
It's like a deployment.
I mean, that would kill anyone's will to live.
Yeah. That'd be horrible. I'd just sign up for the military instead.
At that point.
Like, I'd better off in Yemen.
Here were some other takeaways, though. 38% of Gen Zers believe they will be the last generation to grow up in a normal climate.
Like actual climate, not like the climate of politics, but like your actual
world.
Yeah.
Oh.
The propaganda hits
We're all
so
gonna get wiped out by the tectonic plates. And 37% believe that 9-to-5 jobs will disappear after their generation.
That's not an unreasonable thing to think about. Like 9-to-5 jobs are kind of going. We're in the gig economy now for most people.
30% insist that home ownership will also become impossible.
Only 30%?
Which is also shockingly low. 40% of Gen Z think that they live in the worst period of human history.
That's believable.
So
I kind of agree.
A higher percentage of Zoomers think that they live in the worst time in history than they're going to own a home or not own a home. That's unbelievable to me, because it's like the complete opposite, where like the trope among Zoomers is like, could you imagine giving a Diet Coke to a like middle-aged peasant? Like, that's the classic trope. So it's like, obviously Zoomers are very well.
It's like me in hell explaining, or me in heaven explaining to a medieval peasant how I lost on my 4-6 parlay.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. Me explaining to Martin Luther my Clash of Clans like strategy.
I do actually think that this might be maybe not the worst, but this is like the most unique period of human history.
Because of the amount of stuff that has changed.
Because of the internet primarily.
Yeah.
But like, I think Zoomers, they're very aware that this is not the worst time. But it's like every single Zoomer you talk to is like, I'm never going to own a home. They're super nihilistic on that perspective. So that's just like unbelievable, that data. I don't know. Maybe the sample size has to be Mormons. They're the only people left that are like optimistic.
35% of Gen Z blame the boomers for the issues in modern society.
That's
Even
so
if it's
low.
not entirely true, it's kind of based.
Was there a lot of people that said like, I don't know?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
They just like,
60%.
don't want to talk. There's like, whatever.
I agree with this. 60% of Gen Zers wish that they were born in a different generation. I do. I know I do. I wish I was a millennial. I do.
Millennials were the ones who coined that phrase because they listened to music from another generation.
Yeah, but Gen Z feels that way for totally different reasons.
Yes, absolutely.
46% of Gen Z envy millennials for getting to grow up in a normal world. I feel that way.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I preferably Bronze Age would be where I'd want to live, but millennials would be nice.
They envy millennials for not having to grow up with AI. We
didn't grow up with AI.
Yeah, like it's like
that's like 3 years ago.
It depends on the sector of Gen Z, because some Gen Z are currently in high school.
But if they're polling employees, they wouldn't be old enough to. I also think what's going on here is a lot of people the people that would give the nihilistic answers just didn't want to take the quiz.
Oh, and
so they're probably only polling people that are like bright-eyed and bushy-tailed.
They also say they envy millennials' lack of fear to be cringe. and they envy millennials for being taken more seriously.
Yeah, but the problem with that with millennials is like millennials had to learn to like embrace it as like a form of irony, where they'd be cringe for ironic reasons. They're not actually being like emotionally open or honest with people. They're just being cringe because that's what the humor was. Yes, it is. It's 110% its own defense mechanism.
Well, because all Zoomers did was identify what is cringe, and then were able to deliver it in a post-ironic way. But they're still being in cringe.
The millennials, they say, got to grow up before the peak of the internet, grew up with limited cameras, meaning like no cell phone cameras. They had the last halfway normal childhoods. That's all true.
That's true, yeah.
And they also had the last shot at home ownership.
But like the millennial upbringing was vastly different from a boomer's upbringing. Really, the world, I don't know. It seems like there was the most variation in your upbringing occurred after World War II. So it's like every generation following World War II had a vastly different childhood experience than the previous generation.
A lot of Gen Z
So
believe that they have the healthiest relationships compared to other generations.
Probably because they think that therapy is the baseline for whether you're emotionally well or not.
I think they also look at their parents' relationships. Oftentimes, like, I see posts from people like around our age saying like, "Oh, my parents never got divorced, but I wish they did because they don't get along," and they have this negative view of the idea of sticking it out.
Yeah,
for the purpose of commitment and the kids.
Well, because I would guess, I don't have any data in front of me, but I would guess that Zoomers' parents probably had more stable marriage rates than millennials, and certainly than boomers.
Really?
Yeah, I would suspect that.
You mean more millennials grew up with divorced parents?
Yeah, because I think most Zoomers were raised by Gen X or even younger. And I think that's when the divorce rate actually started to go down, because the marriage rate went down. So the people that were actually getting married. So there's probably a higher proportion of Zoomers that have like single mothers.
This was
but
like
as far as the marriages themselves, the Zoomers that grew up in like 2-parent households, they actually probably had good relationships.
Like this was a huge. If you want to look to the art as some type of indication as to where the culture was when I was growing up, that was a huge aspect of the storytelling in millennial shows and movies, was like the kid from the suburbs with parents that were divorced. It's where the trope of like the pop punk bands come from. I got to get out of this town, and it's just the nicest suburb you've ever seen in your entire life. There was something about the plight of like disenfranchised white kids in the late 90s and early 2000s that felt indicative of the millennial, rise.
Yeah, I'm looking. I pulled it up. The divorce rate peaked around the late 1970s
with boomers,
and it's been dropping. So it's like it's true. It's that Zoomers have probably actually had a better their parents have had better relationships if you have a 2-parent household. But I imagine the single motherhood rate has gone up,
right,
in perpetuity.
Back to the stats about the workplace. It says 80% of Gen Zers believe they're mistreated in the workplace.
Aren't we all?
Come on. Like, they really like feel bullied all the time?
Yeah.
Everyone does. It's called being an employee.
They feel they're passed over due to lack of experience for the most part.
Yeah, because you're 23. You don't have any experience.
I mean, I agree that like entry-level jobs shouldn't require degrees, but on the other hand, they said they're judged for using AI in their jobs. They're mocked for their slang, fashion, or behavior, labeled lazy for not working overtime.
That is not I know that it's become a big source of discussion amongst Gen Z and Gen Alpha with the slang, but every generation made fun of the prior generation's slang.
That's true.
Like, it was always a thing. I have movies going back to the 90s where the dad makes fun of the son's lingo because it sounds ridiculous because kids said sick.
They feel they're not getting hired due to stereotypes. They feel that older colleagues undervalue their skills or ideas, with the exception of jobs that are related to social media.
Yeah, I can absolutely see the type of thing where it's like they only want the Gen Z employees so that they can post funny things from their social media.
So they know all the TikTok trends.
Yeah, so like what dance is in this week?
Yeah.
What TikTok dance
like,
should we...
oh my gosh, they don't do dances on TikTok anymore, you boomer.
God!
There was literally... It was a quote from Aristotle where he said, "Young people are high-minded because they have not yet been humbled by life nor experienced the force of circumstances. They think they know everything and are always quite sure about it." So it's like for 2,500 years, older people have complained
known
about
this.
the naivety of young people.
Yeah, well, I mean, the problem with feeling like you're getting underestimated due to stereotypes is that Gen Z continues just proving the stereotypes right with their lack of common sense, with their lack of common courtesy and manners. And as for Gen Z's lack of common sense, I recently saw one of these people in the consultant class try to explain why Gen Z seems to lack common sense. And one of the major reasons she cited for this, as someone who advises boomers and Gen Xers in different industries about Gen Z behavior, is that in the 90s primarily, people got this weird idea in their heads that you're not supposed to tell other people's kids what to do. And you're not supposed to parent other people's kids. And it's not only none of your business, but also you might be disrupting their parenting methods if you tell a kid what to do. Like the idea that some random person would tell you not to wear a hat in church. Like
Right. Yeah.
random stuff like that. I don't know why I remember this so vividly, but when I was like really young, I was at a friend's house for a play date, and her mom offered to make chocolate milk for us.
Base.
And she said, I'll make you chocolate milk if you say please and thank you. And I don't know why, but I just absolutely refused to do it because I was like, you're not my mom. But she was right to expect me to have manners in her household. Yep. And in a way, she was sort of being the mom in that scenario, even though I wasn't her kid. And for some reason, in recent years, people have totally abandoned that idea that we need a village mentality, that you have a responsibility toward other people's kids too. And that comes with, maybe more trouble for you, but it's worth it to create functional adults.
Yeah.
And it's also gotten in the mind of parents where they're like getting in feuds with school teachers and other parents over like, don't tell my son or daughter what to do. They believe that they're somehow at odds with authorities that they've entrusted their kids to. Like if your kid misbehaves in class and gets a talking to about it, you're in the position where you're going to defend your kid's behavior to the teacher. Yeah. Right. You're supposed to respect the teacher's authority because you were the one who gave that teacher authority over your kid. And I know this is like kind of an unpopular opinion amongst conservatives lately. I don't know why, but I mean, the classroom needs to be militant. I believe that children need to be treated like little soldiers in the classroom. You better sit still, shut your damn mouth, and follow instructions. And if you can't do that, you should get kicked out. Like, that's how I was raised. That's how I was schooled. And all of the parents, because I went to private schools, understood perfectly well that, if your kid couldn't follow the rules, that you don't belong in this community. And also, like, they were of course paying for the service of this education they were receiving. It was just understood that, like, if you misbehaved, you're infecting all the other students with this social contagion of rebellion, and you need to be exiled. That's how it was. And I thought it was taken to an extreme at sometimes. Like, I got in trouble, literally had to go to like a talk with like a principal at my school because I got in trouble for daydreaming in class because I wasn't on the right page of the textbook when I was called on. And that led to me getting a talking to one-on-one with the school principal. And
that's crazy.
People just have no concept of discipline anymore. And I look back on that. I didn't appreciate it at the time because I was a kid. Yeah. But I look back on that and I think, like, that's the way it ought to go. Like, kids need to be bossed around and understand there's a hierarchy. And that's how Western pedagogy has been for generations. I don't know where this idea came about on the right that's like sort of crunchy coded, where we need to like put kids to run around wild in the forest and pick berries. That's not how you teach kids. The proper pedagogy, which has been proven effective for generations, for centuries, millennia even, is you sit down and you listen to a lecture and you don't interrupt, and you take notes and you pay attention. Like, why is that? Like, why is the concept of sitting at a desk and listening lost on this generation?
Well, it's great. Well, one, being oppressed for daydream. They're oppressing yearners. That's all that's going on. You can't even yearn anymore. But also, like, to your point, I mean, there is like societies in the West that were more individualistic, and you would see this manifest in ways that are really bizarre for an American. Like in Scandinavia, if you're over at a friend's house, like when you're a kid, I was told this by one of my friends was from Sweden, and I looked it up, and this is true, is if you're at a friend's house and they're having dinner, you can't eat with them. Like it's not a social convention to like give them a plate. So then you just go home. Because in their view, the parents are like, I'm not going to parent someone else's kid.
I don't like that.
Yeah. So it's like, in that sense, if that was militant to a degree, that's okay if all the parents were good. But yeah, to your point, like you kind of lose the sense of like, no, I think you should have, like, the adults should also be parenting other people's kids to some degree, as far as like, looking over for them. As you're an adult, you have a position of prominence, you have a position of authority, you should be using that on all children around you.
Hence why Gen Z doesn't have common sense, because if you're to learn anything, you need to start early, and it needs to be repeated to you and reinforced over and over and over, not just from your parents, but from all of society. And I don't like this idea that every family is a self-contained unit and has to be solely responsible for the raising of their children. It requires a whole community. It requires all of society to be on the same page.
Well, it's part of the reason the culture changed with the boomers, was because the boomers were the first generation in a long time that was like significantly larger than the previous generations. So a lot of boomers were growing up around other kids, and they were parenting each other rather than kids interacting with adults quite a bit. And so that's why you saw boomers becoming the first to like really have this like mass, I guess, wanting to upheave the system, was because they were just being fed by other kids the entire time, because there was way more kids than adults. And I was reading, there was a paper, I'll find it, where it's like every time a generation comes along that's like massive compared to the previous one, you get big societal changes, because as they matriculate into adults, they're only interacting with other kids primarily. They're not interacting with adults as much, so they don't get the sense of like a civilizational hierarchy.
Yeah, I think the boomers also like had
the culture.
Massive overreaction to the fact that they had like emotionally unavailable veteran parents.
That as well, yeah.
From wartime. We have a 20 from Gordon Shumway. I'm totally envisioning Mary has the super strict nun at a Catholic school that smacks all the kids with a ruler, and it's called the Penguin by all the students. I did not go to Catholic school until high school, and in my Catholic high school, we didn't have any nuns as teachers, so I did not have that experience. I went to Protestant schools, and I loved it. It was great.
Okay. Yeah. I think the Protestant schools ended up emulating like the Anglican style, where it kind of emulates like Catholic schools, because if you read like early on in colonial America, it was very Calvinist society, very individualistic. Like homeschooling was really prominent because everyone was like, well, I'm not concerned with what they're doing. Like, this is between me and my child. And that's downstream from the theology of Calvinism, as like, or the Reformation at large, is like, this is a personal relationship, versus like you get a bit more of like a collective sort of responsibility when you move into like the Catholic world. And then like later on, since most Protestant schools started as like Episcopalian schools to a large degree, or they were trying to emulate the Episcopalian schools, that took on a lot of like Catholic sensibilities, and that's where you got like the corporal punishment, these sorts of things.
There was corporal punishment at my schools, but it was never used. It was just on the table.
Right.
Okay. All right. What would you guys like to see? Cringe or cute of the day?
Let's see the cringe first.
Okay. All right. Here we go. Let's pull this up. All right.
Speaking of Gen Z coworkers.
Oh, here we go.
Name?
Tanea.
Okay, see, and aren't you my best friend at work?
Yes.
So I'm not racist.
That's good.
People think I'm really racist.
Are you serious?
Because like there was a video on here and I sang the N-word, but I didn't tell them your name.
Let's go.
Thank you.
You can't do that. You'll get in trouble. It's like the girl at the J. Cole concert. I think it was J. Cole.
It's Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, yeah.
Kendrick Lamar. That's even worse.
Even worse.
Yeah, it was Kendrick Lamar.
If you're gonna let the N-word fly, don't do it at a Kendrick Lamar concert.
But he was
Should be like
setting
net
her
spend
up.
or something.
He knew what he was doing.
Oh yeah.
That was a total setup.
I'm gonna start. I need black friends so I can do this.
Okay, see,
Hold please. Actually, they hold on. They get a second one. I was supposed to, because we had one at the end of the day yesterday. There was
didn't
supposed
set
to
off
be
the second
one.
party yesterday, so you get another one now.
Round 2.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's got a black friend, so she's okay.
Yeah, so she's not
good.
racist.
Okay.
Easy.
It's like one of my favorite tweets of all time was, "Bro, he's not racist. His girlfriend literally studied abroad." It's like the greatest tweet I've ever seen.
Okay, here we go. And we also have a cute of the day here. Got it. This one's, I had to move this one
that's
because this was a Halloween one.
That's nice.
But I missed it. So this one's from Brian Davis, says Ziggy doing some tricks for treats. I like it.
Are you pro
is it?
this Halloween costume
Yes.
on a dog?
Yes.
Okay.
You
like a mage?
Halloween is the only time of year your pet should be wearing a coat or any type of clothing.
Oh, I see. It's a witch.
Looks
Is
like
it
a
witch hat?
wizard of some sort. It's
Something
got like
like
a
that.
wizard's hat.
Mystical.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. All right.
I don't rebuke your dog.
All right. Let's move on.
So last year, Coca-Cola put out this Christmas commercial, which was entirely generated by AI. And it got a fair amount of pushback at the time, mainly because it looked terrible and was not an executed plan. And now they've brought back their Christmas commercial, which again is AI generated, but they have made significant improvements. One of them is that no humans are featured in this one, except for Santa Claus. This time they have only animal characters.
No, not as many fingers
Yes.
to mess up.
Anthropomorphic animal characters only in this iteration of the ad. And they say they used even fewer people to make it this time. We need to keep moving forward and pushing the envelope. The genie's out of the bottle and you're not going to put it back in.
They gotta increase shareholder value.
This
That's
is
what they
just
have
like
to do.
pure rage bait, right?
Here we go. Let's watch this.
All right. What if it just runs them over?
Shining bright. Tis the season, it's always Coca-Cola.
I really wanted Santa to just run them over.
I liked that a lot.
with the 18-wheeler.
That was nice.
The,
Yeah, that'd be cool. That would be cool.
Roadkill everywhere, guts flying.
Car bomb goes off.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat did point out, they said not everything has to be Zootopia 2.
It's gonna make New Orleans look like a joke. Just kidding. That was horrible of me to say. That was like really twisted. That was really twisted.
Yeah, multiple people are referencing Zootopia.
Yeah, so a lot of people were commenting that Coca-Cola stole copyrighted
Disavow.
content from Disney with characters that strongly resembled characters from Zootopia and Sing, calling it artistic grand theft. And
All right.
now the executives at Coca-Cola have offered their statement on the matter. Last year, people criticized the craftsmanship, but this year, the craftsmanship is 10 times better, according to the global VP and head of generative AI at Coca-Cola. There will be people who criticize we can't keep everyone 100% happy, but if the majority of consumers see it in a positive way, it's worth going forward. So I didn't know this, but also Coca-Cola is like largely responsible for our iconography of the modern Santa Claus.
Yeah.
From their illustrations of Santa Claus
So
over the last century.
I believe I still have it. I think I kept it from when I moved out here. But my parents had like an original, like one of those metal trays that you used to eat on, like when you were gonna eat like at a chair, folds at
Right,
the bottom,
yeah.
tin or metal, and it was like beautifully crafted, like it looked hand painted of Santa Claus with a Coca-Cola. And I think that was one of the few things when I moved out here. I kept keepsakes and family things, photos, but I threw pretty much everything away and just packed up 2 suitcases and moved out here. That was one of the things that I put into a box and put into storage. So And I had the little Coca-Cola polar bears when I was a kid, the little plush.
Oh yeah, I
Yep.
remember those too. They hired this AI studio called Secret Level from LA to produce this. This time featuring just animals. The only person seen is Santa Claus at the end, based on the company's original drawings. I don't know if I was the only person to notice this, but Santa Claus looked kind of Mexican. Like he was giving
Yeah.
Feliz Navidad.
There was a little swarth going on.
I don't know if I was just like racist
George
for noticing that.
I did not see that when Mary said that. I'm like, I don't know if I see that, but maybe I'm wrong.
I also wanted to show this side-by-side comparison of this year's commercial versus last year's AI commercial.
Here we go. I'm muting it this time so we can.
Yeah, so they have a bunch of AI humans in the first one.
Yeah.
It also doesn't come
Everyone's
with,
like analyzing the fingers to make sure
Fingers
it's
look
Yeah, the
okay.
fingers are fine.
And this one is way longer.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
every year it's going to require less and less people to make.
Yeah, just the marketing, just one guy.
Yeah.
But this is the war on Christmas, guys. The AI is destroying the Christmas spirit.
The only way this could be worse is if they did the same thing with the Hershey's Kiss commercials, the famous
Oh, yeah.
Christmas Hershey's Kiss commercials, and the M&M's commercials.
Which
Right.
M&M's commercials?
The one with the M&M's wearing the Santa hats and
There
stuff
was
like
the
that.
one, the NBA one, where they all shot to the baskets, and it was
Yeah.
like, we wish you. I don't know how you're gonna AI that. We're too preoccupied keeping Christ in Christmas. We're not even keeping humans in Christmas anymore. It's all gonna be automated, you know, and that's a worthy cause. Christ needs to be kept in Christmas, but we're so preoccupied. Now the humans are gone. We've been automated.
So the founder of that AI studio, Secret Level, is named Jason Zeta, and he tweeted about the commercial, but then promptly deleted his post after everyone was ratioing him and calling him out for copying the character designs from Disney movies. He gave a comment to The Hollywood Reporter saying that the best compliment I get is when people say a video doesn't look like AI. It's sort of like when Christian movie studios say the best compliment they can get
Is it
is
just
it
a good
doesn't
movie?
seem like a Christian movie.
It's just a good movie.
Yeah, it's just a good movie that happens to be Christian.
There's a 20. I mean, honestly, that's what you should be going for. You shouldn't be going for making a good Christian movie. You should be
Yes.
making a good movie that happens to be
Yes.
Christian. There's a 20 there.
Pop Culture Junkie said many of the characters look very similar to a 2011 animated film done by ILM called Rango. Oh, I remember Rango.
Rango
I'm a
is
big fan
awesome.
of this film, and many of the characters look like an exact copy. So we had like the raccoons, the panda bears, the bunnies.
Man, Rango was something.
I found
That was something.
this is my personal favorite Christmas commercial of all time. This is an old, and I believe I've played this on the show before, but I just thought I'd pull it up. This was an old Cheerios commercial from like the 80s or the 90s.
Nuts and honey, Mr. Scrooge.
Better things to do.
But Mr. Scrooge, Honey Nut Cheerios, it's Christmas.
My customary gruel will suffice.
Yeah, but Honey Nut Cheerios blends golden honey and crunchy nuts.
I said, did you say honey and nuts?
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
I love that commercial.
That's cute.
Those days are gone, ladies and gentlemen. You get nothing but AI slop and Will Smith eating spaghetti.
You know, I figured the AI revolution gives corporations the perfect excuse to abandon DEI.
Yeah.
Because, of course, inclusivity doesn't matter when humans aren't involved in the process anymore and you're not hiring actors to be in your commercials. You can just put, you know, AI-generated anthropomorphic animals
Yep.
in your commercials and nobody can call you out for the self-serving reason you did that.
Yep.
So I think it's part of the vibe shift, perhaps.
What was the Budweiser? They put out that horse Christmas ad a few years ago, and it was like really sad.
Here is
What?
the
Everyone was crying.
So you think Santa will like these red and green M&Ms?
I don't know.
I never met the guy.
He does exist.
To exist. Santa?
Not enough sexy go-go boots, if you ask
Yeah,
me.
I couldn't focus. I don't know what it was.
Maybe they should have sexy go-go boots.
Yeah.
Well, no, because those weren't the green M&Ms.
Hey, wait a minute. If we had to take away the go-go boots from the green M&M, why couldn't we instead just give all of the M&Ms sexy go-go boots?
That's a good point.
So it's inclusive.
Very good point.
And they can all be sexy.
Right.
Like you should just all find the M&Ms to be erotic.
Because they're not girls, okay? Some things are sacred.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. But I don't like this. I don't like that AI is becoming a culture war issue primarily, where the right is defending it simply because it's supplanting DEI.
Yeah.
And
I will admit
is whinging about it in a way that really makes the anti-AI cause cringe.
When I did a video yesterday, I kind of acknowledged this fact where when they were talking about like I was talking about boring celebrities who, when they have nothing interesting to say, they say fuck ICE or fuck AI.
Right.
And I'm like, at a certain point, I'm just like, the F ICE thing, you know, whatever, we disagree. But the FAI thing, like, Phil always calls us Luddites and says, like, we're anti-AI. But when a celebrity says it and tries to be edgy, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to AI even harder.
It makes people feel spiteful.
Yeah.
Jason Zeta took it even further, and he said that he believes social media gives a skewed impression of how AI ads are going over. The haters on the internet are the loudest. A lot of the people complaining last year were from the creative industry who were just afraid for their jobs, afraid for what it did. But I think the spot tested really well and average people really enjoyed it. And he says that these fears from creatives are misplaced. While the Coke ad this year required fewer people to make it, he estimated it at 20 compared to at least 50 last year. The efficiencies mean that more could be done in a short amount of time. Brands will allocate the same budgets, he believes, leading perhaps to smaller teams on a given ad, but more creative overall. You could do 10 times as much at scale, he says. That isn't really addressing the matter at hand, where people are not getting hired. It's not that they're losing jobs, they're just not getting hired in the first place. Yeah, so he's basically like, F your jobs, I don't care, I'm making money off of this.
I mean, that was always what was going to happen with these corporations. But the thing is artists in the left have kind of turned, they simultaneously hate these corporations, but use them as a sense of validation. Like they judge their ability in their work based on who hires them, right? It's like somebody working for Marvel, but they hate the company in the way that they make their movies. Like they're tied to the need to work for these companies because they need to make a living, but they could go do their art on their own. But it's a lot harder to make it on your own when you're, you know, selling your own product as opposed to being somebody contracted to make a product for somebody else.
I just sent you the link to a director on Instagram who is using AI to create commercials. And he is explaining for people how difficult it actually is to get AI to follow your instructions.
Okay.
Can't believe the client picked the AI guy, but I'm guessing it's mostly because you cost nothing.
The client picked me because I'm the best closer in the city.
I think you meant to say closer, which wouldn't have made sense anyway to what I just said, but let's just move on. Okay, so you're at Sammy's Sports Bar. You're going to walk in, you're going to take a bite of the hamburger, and you're going to say, "So beefy at Sammy's Sports Bar." Let's try it.
So beefy at Sammy's Sports Bar.
Okay, you can't walk in holding a cheeseburger, but I guess I didn't literally tell you everything, so here we go. You're going to walk in, wave to all your friends, come up to the table, take a bite of the cheeseburger, and then say, "So beefy at Sammy's Sports Bar."
So beefy at Sammy's Sports Bar.
Okay, a lot of things. Okay, one, you said the line before you took a bite of the burger. I mean, think about it. How would you know what it tastes like if you haven't taken a bite out of it yet?
I mean, trying to direct AI would be like trying to direct me. I would be a lot like AI.
So you say "so beefy."
Has anybody ever seen the movie Major League 2 where Rick the Wild Thing Vaughn gets a deodorant commercial and he can't do like a 10-second spot saying the line and he starts holding the deodorant bottle upside down? It's basically Rick the Wild Thing Vaughn from AI. Here we go.
2, you waved right at the camera. See, I'm not your friend. I'm the director. The friend could be here or here, but not right down the barrel. Lastly, your glasses have to stay on the whole time. They like appeared mid-bite. So, you know.
So beefy.
Stop waving at the camera. What are you guys doing?
So beefy at Sammy's Sports Bar.
Your glasses need to be on the whole time, and you need to say the line after the bite. You know what? Let's just forget it. Let's simplify it. Just Don't walk in, don't wave to anyone. Just stand there, take a bite of a hamburger, and say, "So beefy" at Sammy's Sports Bar.
So beefy at Sammy's Sports Bar.
Ugh, wait. Oh, God, that was so gross. That was so disgusting. Wow.
I sent you, I'm sorry, but this is so hilarious. I sent you a second example where he's like trying to get it to express different emotions in the commercial, and it's even worse.
Here you're going to save us a lot of time and money, so I'm excited to see what you got.
I honestly couldn't sleep last night. I am so excited to be here and finally start working on this project today. It's going to be epic.
Okay. Yeah, so great. Let's start.
Okay, somebody could turn this into a sitcom of sorts, I'm sure.
There were some really basic emotions. Let's start with anger. Okay, you're angry. Okay, so that felt like a dog or some kind of animal. So let's just do human anger. Like, you just lost your job and you're angry about it.
You can't do this to me. I need this job. Why are you firing me?
That was interesting. Yeah, it felt a little on the nose, and you sort of just stopped acting in the middle. You know what? Let's just stop doing anger. That can be kind of tough, especially if you don't have any, experiences or emotions to draw from. So let's just do excited. You're excited.
Oh, yes. That is amazing.
Okay, sorry to interrupt. Just stop improvising. Just act excited. No words. Act excited.
Sunrise. Found nice. About sunrise.
Okay, yes. Technically, those were not words, but it was also insane. So let's just move on.
I mean, I wonder if he's making a skit where these aren't the actual... I know it says the actual prompt, but like, what if he's just lying and making it for comedy's sake?
How about eating a hamburger? In the commercial business, you gotta eat a hamburger. You gotta do the old bite and smile. Let me see one of those.
And it sounds like he's biting into an apple.
I mean, kind of felt like you were mocking me, but overall it's pretty good. Can you just do one where...
It's like the loudest lettuce that's ever been bitten into before.
It's like an apple.
Overall, you're just not being weird?
Okay, I'm just going to stand here and act completely normal. Nothing weird happening here.
What the...
Is that a fucking gun? How's it going?
Okay, I'm starting to think that that's a skit.
Okay, I sent you another one. I'm so sorry if I'm like beating this horse to death, but the last one is he's like doing an audition for like Home Improvement on HGTV.
Okay.
And it's a couple.
This AI thing going, so let's try a little couples improv.
We are so excited to be auditioning. We absolutely love doing projects around the house.
We demo, we build, we can't wait to get started.
Nice. You guys are... I like that little hammer trick you did too. Real quick, I noticed that you were mouthing along with her on that one. Don't do that, it looks strange. Okay, so you guys are a DIY couple. You're in a room, you're deciding what color to paint the room, and then you decide on a color, and then you say, let's do this. It's important to say let's do this because that is the slogan of the company.
I really like the yellow swatch.
I'm not sure. What about this gray?
Gray. Okay.
Well, let's do this.
Okay, yeah. A couple things. The pointing's weird. Just like stop all this pointing because like that's not how people talk. Also, you had a third hand coming up and like holding the paint thing. So I don't know how you did that, but don't do that. And then you laughed after he said gray. I mean, that's not funny. It's not funny to pick the color gray. And lastly, the high five just felt weird. So just don't do that.
I don't know. Maybe this gray is better.
No, the yellow is perfect. Oh. It's bright and happy.
Okay, you convinced me.
Let's do this.
Well, that's not going to work. Yeah, you took his voice halfway through it. You literally took the voice, and it was your voice. So don't do that. And then the high five, that was weird. So like no high five, no hand stuff.
Oh, I love it. It's perfect.
Let's do this.
Well, I guess you didn't do the hand stuff, but you did do something weird. Okay, let's just move on. So it's the end of the...
Okay.
You get the point. Yeah. Okay. Maybe were a little too hasty saying that AI is going to take over commercials.
I think it's going to cut down on the creative jobs. Absolutely.
The timelines are going to get shorter and shorter
Yep.
for when that happens, but there's still a lot more progress that needs to happen.
All right, let's go audition some super chats.
Maybe we should do the show like that, where like I just start wording like while you're talking, I start like miming you. Yeah, I think that would be a nice improvement. Shane H. Wilder said, "Happy Patriot Tuesday, Brett, Mary, and Tate. Hopefully tonight goes fast. It's going to be a late one regardless." Why?
The election.
Oh, right, because of the. I totally forgot about that. The mayoral election.
I saw like super uber mega progressive actress Deborah Messing say she like is voting for Cuomo because he's got experience and Mamdani doesn't. It's like, no, you're just socially very progressive and want to keep your money apparently.
Yeah. That's how it goes.
Gordon Shumway said, "Happy Tuesday." Already read that one. Pop Culture Junkie said, regarding the Coke spot, do you folks think we all have a slightly different idea of where the line dividing up the uncanny valley is, or do you think we are all kind of the same?
I think there's a line. I think there's generally like some leeway there, depending on how much time you spend looking at a screen every day. And
it's just right before the Polar Express. Is wherever
okay, so that's the hottest take that Mary has is that she loved the Polar Express movie.
Well, I didn't think it was creepy at all.
Oh, okay, because like the movie's fine. It's just creepy.
I
There's
didn't
a lot of
think it
good
was
movies that are
creepy
creepy.
at all. I didn't second guess it because CGI was so bad back then anyway.
I never saw the movie, but I loved the book so much that I never felt any. I was so far. It was made so much farther after my childhood that there was no reason for it. But I still have that book as well.
But as for that question, I just think the more often we see AI generated faces, the less disturbing it's going to be. We're going to just get desensitized to it. Corey Anderson said that woke lady isn't taking a lead role with that face and haircut. Not in today's Hollywood. That's not true. I think she's already had a lead role and she's gonna get more. Shane H. Wilder said, "Mia looks like she's in physical pain trying to explain creating chemistry with Jacob. Damn, she must have really hated working with him." Yeah, it was like it was some sort of hostage situation
She's like
off camera.
gallstones.
Like someone's like pointing a gun at her.
Did it ever occur to just like call him on the phone? Yeah. Like instead of like bombarding him with
I have
pizzas.
to send him pizzas.
Like he's pranking him.
Every time she wanted to talk, she'd send me an Uber Eats order with like notes in the margins, and I'm like, bro, I've got a phone number.
Who wants ginger shots, by the way? That's a
Yeah,
little
I would take that
strange.
as a like move of hostility.
Yeah.
Be like, you think I'm like have something wrong with my aura?
What, I'm sick?
Yeah,
do
my
one more.
chakra's off.
Shane H. Wilder said only 30% believe that homeownership will be impossible. Dog, have you seen how few millennials and Gen Z that have homes? Yeah, I think that the question was like, are you the last generation that will have a shot at home ownership? And on the contrary, I think a lot of Gen Z think that the millennials were the last generation.
I just think the millennials swept the minds.
As
So
of
it's
2022, according to the AI overview, 52% of millennials owned a home, though some
Really?
indicate that the rates may be closer to 55%.
That'll increase
Good for
as
the
they get
millennials.
older.
That seems
Homeownership-
pretty good.
Yes, it says in 2023, a Redfin report showed the rate closer to 54.8, and a 2024 Redfin data point places the rate at 55%.
Here's the
I don't know
shit
what that data
people
part
hate
means, but-
about the home ownership discussion is like when boomers say get a starter home, because boomers didn't do that.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. They just got a house in their 20s and literally just lived in it for the rest of their lives.
Also, like, yeah, the construction companies don't have to account for starter homes anymore because people jump straight from apartment to like their 3-bed, 2-bath. So like, typically people would just enter the real estate market right away. They would buy a starter home. Now there's not really much there's not much capital. There's not much inventory of starter homes just because people just live in apartments longer.
And construction standards are in the gutter, so
That too.
houses aren't built to last very long anyway.
Yeah, and there's also like I hate to be this guy because I find the YIMBY people so cringe, but like the codes are like totally messed up because there was this viral video, I think it was in San Antonio, where it was these like 1-bedroom homes that like look like shotgun houses. And I'm like, if they would just infill that and turn them into row houses and put like a brick facade, those would be like $400,000 houses. But they can't because of code, because people love like row houses. Everyone loves like the classic Brooklyn brownstone, especially young people. But because of code regulations, they can't build those, so they just have to do these weird like shotgun houses.
All right, let's hold off on the rest. Let's move on.
All right. Yesterday marked the beginning of the end for Teen Vogue, which was a sister publication to Vogue. started in 2002. 22 years later, they have found out that it's F around and find out. That's what it is. They completely destroyed Teen Vogue over the recent years since, I think, Trump's first term. And the consequences have finally caught up to them. Vogue put out this press release to explain their decision. They're not shutting down Teen Vogue entirely, but they have decided to fold it into the parent brand of Vogue.com.
Still a bad sign.
It's not going to have its own website. It's not going to have its own team. They're
So
transitioning.
it's in like a drop menu. It's like in a drop-down menu.
They're becoming more nimble.
Yeah.
That's what it is in corpo speak.
Corpo speak. Yep.
Yeah. So Teen Vogue is joining Vogue.com. They will keep the unique editorial identity and mission and fortify the evolving Vogue ecosystem under the new head of editorial content at Vogue after Anna Wintour left. They have a new one named Chloe Molly, and she was the one who made this decision. They also sacked the editor-in-chief of Teen Vogue named Varsha Sharma, and I'm sure you could guess, Varsha Sharma is just the worst of the worst type of woke people. She never shuts up about DEI, and I think that maybe this is a sign of a vibe shift, but also just the fact that you cannot keep a publication like this running on fumes in perpetuity.
Yeah.
It was losing money for many years, since the late 2010s at the very least, when they discontinued print publication, because that was too much of a cost. And they also have implemented mass layoffs of all of their political writers at Teen Vogue. So
wait, why are there political writers at Teen Vogue?
good question. Why was that ever a thing in the first place? So they used to have an editor-in-chief named Amy Astley in the 2000s up until around Current Year Politics, who made it a publication for young girls about makeup and hair and dresses and prom and cute boys and heteronormative dating advice and relatively innocent lifestyle content. And once they got rid of her, they replaced a whole new suite of leadership who are incredibly radical in leftist politics, basically avowed Marxists, and that took place in 2016. They decided that in response to the first Trump victory, they needed to completely revolutionize this publication and make it into a propaganda outlet for young girls. And over time, not only did they completely drive their brand into the ground, they also lost the readership they used to have. They don't have teen readers anymore. It's mostly millennials reading publications from other millennials. And they said in this piece from the head of editorial content, I remember when Teen Vogue launched, I read every page on the bus home from practice. I loved it then, and I love and respect it now, and I'm committed to continuing and supporting its point of view and sensibility. However, with the news that they have just slashed all of their political writers, that's evidently not the case. They don't want this to be a political propaganda outlet anymore, and they're probably planning to phase it out. And now, of course, the people who consider themselves like freedom fighters on Blue Sky for real journalism are up in arms praising Teen Vogue. They say it's one of the only publications doing real political reporting and journalism. So of course the billionaire class didn't like it and had to gut them. Another one said they just gutted Teen Vogue, which had top-notch political journalism. The media is continuing to purge any sort of political dissent to Trump and the oligarchs. And another one said, certainly there is more to come once the dust has settled, but after today, there will be no politics staffers at Teen Vogue. Now, I want to show you examples of the top-notch journalism they were praising Teen Vogue for publishing in recent years. First of all, the legacy of Karl Marx's ideas and how they're relevant to the current political climate, published by Teen Vogue in 2018, infamously. And the meme goes, Teen Vogue in 2002. Would Joe Jonas like your lip gloss, or are you ugly? Versus Teen Vogue in 2019, where it's just outwardly promoting Marxism to teenage girls. And then take a look at this throwback of a test issue of Teen Vogue in 2002 with Hayden Christensen on the cover. This is what it used to be. best dressed list, fashion hits and misses, celebrity gossip, just, the normal, what you would assume would be in a publication for young girls.
Yeah.
Because they're not organically interested in headlines like this. How about Welcome to Anal Sex 101, published by Teen Vogue in 2019?
Gosh.
How about that? Here's another one. Please talk to your family and friends about politics, even if it's uncomfortable. Use your privilege as a white person to protect people of color. How about this one? Abortion is normal. Abortion is common. Abortion is one of many reproductive outcomes that nearly 1 in 4 women, as well as trans men and other non-binary people, will experience. And Antifa grows out of a larger revolutionary politics that aspires toward creating a better world, but the primary motivation is to stop racists from organizing. Here's another one. In witchcraft, one's menstrual cycle is considered to be an extremely powerful time. Here's how to make your menstrual blood magical. Just tutorials on witchcraft and period blood arts and crafts.
Yeah.
And overt endorsements of leftist political violence and self-flagellation.
Yeah.
All of the things that you would expect. This is the top-notch political journalism that was just slashed at Teen Vogue.
Yep.
And the usual suspects are mad about it. Another one said, Teen Vogue has been one of the best outlets of the last decade, unflinching with moral clarity in the face of BS. Versha Sharma and her amazing team have always treated their readers with respect. Too rare a trait these days. And another one said, Teen Vogue took young people seriously. It's impossible to overstate how important, rare, and profoundly needed that is. To which I have to say, young people shouldn't be taken seriously. They shouldn't be, especially teenagers, especially teenage girls. Like, that is such a novel concept, even that we should take young people seriously. And you know what? In addition to that, it didn't just become, cultural Marxism, intersectional feminism, and critical race theory with a side dish of fashion. It actually became fashion as the outer coating, like the candy coating for all of that, the substance. And what they did was, like, they devalued everything that teenage girls actually took an interest in, which ironically is very demeaning to their readers. And the payback is that their readership plummeted.
I mean, this was happening in stuff for men too. Like, sports magazines were becoming increasingly political, and all of that stuff became.
It's happened across the board.
Yeah, and it was something you couldn't get away from. There was a time when it was maybe not profitable, but these were dying industries. Especially print media was a dying industry that was taking its last gasp by trying to cling on to something they felt was relevant at the time. It's not relevant now. It's so funny too, because you'd think the audience would be built in, but the age demographic kind of puts it off, because it's not like women aren't voting Democrat, which they are. So the thing is that their readers aren't teens. Their readers are adults. They're millennials.
Well, it's according to the editor-in-chief, mostly the 18 to 24 demographic, which is Gen Z, but not the demographic they used to have. And I remember I had a subscription to Teen Vogue when I was in middle school, and there were a lot of tweens that still read magazines back then, because I'm unk. And I remember back then I also had subscriptions to like J14, Tiger Beat. And even back then, like, my mom got me those subscriptions because even at the time she thought it was like quaint that they even still existed.
Yeah.
And now, due to population collapse for one, and the over-sexualization and indoctrination of young women in this country, the media and fashion and marketing that's directed toward tweens and teens has almost vanished. Like, we don't have retail companies that cater to young girls anymore because they're just mini adults consuming content from adult influencers and streamers.
Yeah.
And they're also, like, becoming the Sephora kids who are, like, obsessed with multi-step, hyper expensive skincare routines and, like, pretending to be adults essentially. So it is a sign of, like, cultural poverty that this has happened. And I'm not celebrating it. I'm just saying it's deserved, what has happened.
Yeah.
And for them to be acting flabbergasted at the result is so, I mean, they're so close to getting it, right? Like,
well, when they talk about that, they said like these publications were unflinching. That doesn't mean they're making any money. That doesn't mean anything.
They couldn't be sustainable.
Yeah.
So this is what you get. And now the union representing those writing staff that just got laid off has officially condemned Vogue's decision to fold the publication into their larger brand. In their statement, they said they strongly condemn Condé Nast, the parent company's consolidation plans for Teen Vogue. They claim that the move was clearly designed to blunt the award-winning magazine's insightful journalism at a time when it's needed the most. Yeah, it's award-winning, but it doesn't sell. That's the problem. And now all of these writers who just got laid off are whinging on social media about it, pretending to be victims.
This is a problem for when these companies lie, or at least they obfuscate the purpose of their jobs, which is like, when you look up the about for any of these magazines, it's going to say something like what these people are complaining about. They're like, our job is to look unflinchingly at the politics of today and see how it affects young women. No, not really. You can lie. I mean, you could claim that that's how you want to make money, but that's what your job is. Your job is to claim to do all that stuff while turning a profit. But when your corporate about me page ends up being what you think that the company's about, you're either lying or you're stupid or you don't understand how this type of economy works. It's why the creators that have become the most successful from these businesses have been able to pivot, whether that's somebody like moving to YouTube or moving to Substack and doing their own thing. Like, the point is to get eyeballs on what you're doing, not to push out whatever you want indiscriminately, which is why people have long form discussions about what you choose to cover. People ask that question of Tim all the time, like, why do you cover this? Why do you cover this? And this is a question that gets asked a lot of people. And when you're a really good independent creator, your enthusiasm for a topic can often sell something on its own. For other people, you have to go, like, that's what they call chasing the algorithm. You have to go and see, what are people talking about? We were talking about covering Sydney Sweeney today. About like whether we were going to cover like her comments on the American Eagle jeans thing. And we're like, we don't even, like, there's not even anything else to say. Like, we've already covered it. It's been covered. It's been beat to death. Do we need to cover it again? So when they talk about the importance of what they're doing, sure, I guess ideologically it could be important to you, but to the people that pay your salary, that's not what matters. They can lie. They can claim that that's what matters, but they're lying. They're being dishonest.
Well, the reality is they're not good at propaganda. If it's not selling, you're not good at propagating your ideas, are you?
Well, yeah, because they're just delivering a half-baked version of what you would see on Twitter and those spaces anyway.
I'm telling you.
This has been the problem for all of these publications, is they're trying to compete in a market that you just can't compete with, like individuals posting slop on Instagram stories. It's like, yeah, I mean, there's no sense to it.
I'm going back through this show, Everwood, and let me tell you, they were so much better at writing propaganda back in the early 2000s. I just watched this episode from 2002 where they're debating surrogacy, and it's a conversation that people would be having now. And if they wrote the episode the way that it was wrote in 2025, they wrote this episode the way they wrote it in 2002, I guarantee you it would slip by conservatives and they would have been like, oh, that was a pretty good discussion that they just had on that topic. But the problem is in 2002, it was a Trojan horse to make it more mainstream, as this doctor from New York explains to country bumpkins in Colorado what surrogacy is. Like, and of course, I'm talking about entertainment and not journalism, but the point is the same. When the propaganda is made better, it's why I talk about it all the time when I do my solo videos. Well-made propaganda goes down easier. And they're just not any good at doing that anymore.
Right.
To their own detriment.
My point isn't that prior to the 2000s, these women's magazines weren't pushing propaganda. They absolutely were, and that's verified, especially in the case of a magazine like Cosmopolitan. But they did it effectively because it was covert. And I remember, at the very least, when I was reading Teen Vogue, as a 13-year-old, it was content about dresses, shoes, hairstyles, and very innocent, maybe high school level dating advice. There was never anything about sodomy or Marxism or activism or essays about AI. There was nothing like that.
So glad that I never had to live through an era where like the skate magazines were talking about racial justice and climate justice.
And another reason why they're mad is that Teen Vogue now has no writers or editors who are women of color. As of today, or rather yesterday, only one woman of color remains on the editorial staff at Teen Vogue. And here were some of the responses from the people who got laid off. They're also like linking their Cash Apps and Venmos so that they can, shake their cup at us. I was laid off from Teen Vogue today along with multiple other staffers on other sections, and today is my last day. More to come, but to my knowledge, after today, there will be no politics staffers at Teen Vogue. Another one with they, them pronouns and watermelon in bio, named Ellie Bell, said that she is now converting all of her Teen Vogue articles into PDFs because she thinks that they're going to get taken off the website. She said Teen Vogue was one of the first places I ever got to write the kinds of more radical stories about mental health, polyamory, queerness, trans people, and more. I helped shape the identity and politics verticals back in 2017 and 18, and seeing it ruined is nothing short of horrific.
And now it's going under. I wonder if the two are connected.
Like, again, you're so close to understanding what just happened. Another one named Ayana Ishmael was laid off from Teen Vogue this week, saying, at our Teen Vogue summit, I was asked how it felt to be one of 2 black women left and what it meant for representation. Now there are no black women at Teen Vogue, and it's incredibly painful to think about. Ellie Bell said, I have so much care for my colleagues getting laid off and feel an immense sense of devastation because we're just losing more and more outlets we need for radical, honest writing, and rich assholes need to leave media alone.
You need the rich assholes to fund your assholery.
And here's another proof of concept. We used to have something called bitch media. It doesn't exist anymore because they went under. They were financially suffering. And she used to write for Bitch Media. She said, I mourned when Bitch Media went under. I'm mourning this, and I hope I get to keep organizing with my friends in media to do something about the way journalism is being ruined and marginalized. Journalists and writers are being harmed by wealthy people who, she capitalized this part, don't get it.
I want these people, what I would love for these people, the way they could win me over instantly is to go into business for yourself. Start a Patreon, start a Substack, start putting out your own materials, prove that there's an audience for it, which is what anybody else in the space
Start a Substack. This person should start a Substack and see if anyone subscribes.
They do not care about that. They want the validation that comes from working for Teen Vogue.
Or working for Bitch Media.
Or working for Bitch Media.
Or Jezebel.
It's
just like, it's the Grim Reaper, and he just killed off Teen Vogue, and Jezebel and Bitch Media are in the rearview mirror. And plenty of others that I haven't even named. But, start a Substack. See if your ideas are so compelling that you can build an audience of your own. I doubt they are.
Then you'll be Barry Weiss, and they'll be asking you to run
honestly,
CBS.
This might be interpreted as too charitable of a take on Gen Z women. However, I think that if you're someone with a watermelon in bio and they, them pronouns talking about polyamory, queerness, and mental health, you actually are, in my opinion, out of touch with what Gen Z is interested in these days. Like, I think that all of those things, queerness, blah, 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 like all of that is becoming like kind of cringe and passe amongst Gen Z. Despite the fact that like statistically Gen Z women are far left, that overt, like defiant rebellion of ugliness, that's being rejected right now. And this is more proof of that. And it is sad. I'm not like celebrating that Teen Vogue doesn't exist anymore for all intents and purposes. I think it should, but they did this to themselves.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Super Chats. And I got a couple of Rumble rants here. Actually, there's 2 of the same from Grunmeister.
Okay.
He says, thanks for the Vogue slop rotting my brain. Just got back to work from a week staycation. The time off has reminded me that I got a pretty good job that does give me a sense of accomplishment. Those are important things.
Yeah.
Like that's a very, very good thing to have. Is that Cocteau? Let's go with that.
Not me.
You know, as far as dispelling the idea that she's a goth girl goes, Mary chose wisely with the design and naming of her coffee. You should legally change your name to Night Pain next.
What does that mean?
Sounds like a comic book character like Nightwing.
Look, this is a Halloween coffee. I'm not really into the whole Halloween thing. I didn't dress up this year. And I don't think that I'm goth. If you asked it's sort of like when you call yourself a geek, the whole community of self-proclaimed geeks comes after you. Any goth would say I'm not goth.
That's why whenever people have brought that up on the show, I say I'm not a nerd because I don't want the nerds coming for their cred.
Nerd, yeah.
I don't I'm not. I never was. I read comics a little bit growing up, and I watch a lot of movies and television, but I'm not a film nerd. I'm not a regular nerd. I'm just a regular person. I do not have stolen valor.
I promise, no actual goth person would consider me part of their community.
We have a Rumble rant from High Voltage 75 says, even if there's nothing to discuss, there's always room for Sydney Sweeney and those fun bags on PCC. Well, that was just in poor taste, my friend.
Well, not today. Annie NJ said, Gen X had the best childhood in my humble opinion. I assume that's coming from a Gen Xer, but I don't know. They used to drink from the garden hose and come back when the street lights came on.
Yeah, but I did all that stuff, and I'm a millennial.
Well, you're close. You're a cusp. You're a cusp-lennial.
Yeah, that would have been fun to be a Gen Xer, when all Indiana Jones came out, to watch that in theaters. That would have been fun.
No, I still wish that I were a millennial. I think that they had the best cultural moment.
I want to be a soy-lennial. Imagine how freeing that must be to just your testosterone just drops and you can you can drink Soylent and not feel bad about it.
Yeah, it's so delicious.
Oh,
Do
man.
2 more.
El Guapo said, Mary, honestly, you seem more like you have a Gen X mentality than you do a Zoomer or millennial mentality.
I would be interested to know
why,
how you separate the two.
I don't think I have a Gen X mentality at all.
I think conservative Zoomers have Gen X similarities to Gen X because Zoomers were raised by them, and so
well, first of all, I have one Boomer parent and one Gen X parent.
Whoa.
Which is relatively
you're basically
rare
mixed
for a
race.
Zoomer.
Yeah, you're mixed race effectively.
I'm biracial.
Yeah.
And I think that Gen Xers are known for being like F the system, rules are stupid, old people are stupid, nothing matters, smoke weed. They were also the peak of hookup culture, if I had to guess. So I don't think I have a lot in common with them, but maybe I'm wrong. Shane H. Wilder said, if I didn't address my friend's parents as Mr. or Mrs. last name or sir/ma'am, I would have gotten in trouble with them and then with my parents. Yeah, back then, your friend's parents would tell your parents that you misbehaved, and then it was like they were a team. It was the adults versus the kids.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the parents were going to make excuses for their kids' bratty behavior back then.
Yeah. Well, I remember the ma'am, sir, Mr. and Mrs. thing was more of a Southern thing, because when I was a kid, we lived in Indiana for a few years, and parents would get they'd be disturbed if you called them the Mr. and Mrs., but if you use ma'am and sir, they're like, wow, this kid's so polite and everything. Because I remember in Memphis, it was required.
But the bar is so low these days.
I said all those things, and people would get weirded out when I would say ma'am.
And that's how I knew when I was firmly entering adult territories, when I would say Mr. or Mrs. to someone that was 50 plus, and they'd be like, just call me Mike.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Then you're officially
I'm Unk now.
All right, let's hold off on the rest and let's move on.
It's probably no news to a lot of you, but in case you needed a reminder, celebrities are taking marching orders from the World Economic Forum, guys.
Whoa.
And there seems to be a coordinated agenda from people in Hollywood to convince us that we ought to consume insects. There are a ton of celebrity examples of this, where they are featured in commercials or promo videos eating insects and praising the merits of insects as a protein source that's sustainable and, friendly to the environment. And obviously this is an effort that they are using to normalize it to the rest of us, while they plan to have underground bunkers and eat steak for the rest of their lives. They don't want to sacrifice any of their own luxuries. They want us to be the ones eating the bugs and living in the pod. Now, I didn't realize it was this widespread of a phenomenon until I looked into it the other day. But here is an incomplete but extremely long list of celebrities who have done this. Angelina Jolie, Nicole Kidman, Salma Hayek, Zac Efron, Shailene Woodley, Robert Downey Jr., Gordon Ramsay, Lupita Nyong'o, Drew Barrymore, and even Kanye West, of all people. And this is not even a complete list of celebrities who have either eaten bugs on camera or promoted the idea of eating bugs. And I just want to show you some of the most high-profile examples, first of which is Nicole Kidman. I believe this is a video from back in 2023. She sat down with Vanity Fair and ate a 4-course meal of both living and dead insects.
I am going to eat a 4-course meal of bugs. I am here to reveal my hidden talent.
This is why Keith Urban divorced her.
This must be it.
She's like,
she has bug breath.
Yeah.
Eating micro livestock, hornworms.
Ooh.
They're still alive.
Ew.
Extraordinary.
The noise.
Just because she's Australian. She's Australian, right?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Do they eat bugs in
Very
Australia?
moist, chewy. Quite describe the flavor, but water. Let's try the second course, shall we? Just a little side note.
I think the director was like, could you do it like a little sluttier?
2 billion people in the world eat bugs. I'm one of them.
Oh.
Here we go. Mealworms. Telling you, I'd win Survivor. That is a fruity taste. Recommend it. Have.
Like they had to pay her extra for her to say I'd recommend it.
Oh. Crickets. Oh, nothing. Oh. Awesome. Nothing you've ever tasted. Like hairy nut. Don't.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Nut.
A hairy
in the
nut, huh?
shell. And now, that. The fried grasshopper. These are amazing. These are exquisite grasshoppers. Recommend them to anyone. Thank you for spending so much time with me and watching me eat bugs. Till next time.
Do you think like people in Haiti when they're eating their mud cookies, they like watch these videos? They're like, in America, they're eating bugs. What's going on
Right?
up there?
Like they're so uncivilized.
This is what a bad divorce will do to you. You'll go on TV and eat bugs.
I remember, if we want to draw this back to some form of pop culture, in the show iZombie, where the characters eat the fake brains, like they would have to have spit buckets on set because apparently like it was so gross to eat them, whatever they were made out of, to make them look the way they did, that they would have to go like, you think she had a spit bucket offset?
I couldn't tell if she was being sarcastic when she was, saying that they're so delicious, but
She's like, the paycheck is huge.
She knows the future of her.
Klaus's check always clears.
Yeah.
Make him believe
we
it.
have a 20 from Gordon Shumway. Gen X didn't have to deal with social media and everyone having a camera on their phones in our teens and early adult lives. Our stupid behavior is not forever immortalized on the internet. That's why it's the best childhood. That's true for a lot of millennials as well. Not quite as much, but
Yeah, I mean, there was. So I remember when I was in high school, I was the first generation of kids watch it because I couldn't afford a cell phone. Are you kidding me? Watching kids text answers to each other and the teachers having no idea what they were doing. It was rough, man.
Angelina Jolie has been one of the most vocal advocates of eating bugs and incorporating insects into her family's diet for years.
So this is the price her kids pay for having a trust fund.
This is a clip from a documentary in 2011 that was produced by the BBC. She's in Cambodia eating tarantula and scorpions on camera and encouraging children to join with her and eat the bugs. And she noted that her children snack on crickets like Doritos. She emphasized insects as a practical protein source in regions where they're culturally common. Cool.
Tarantulas. Go ahead. How do you flip a scorpion?
Hey, good guys. Dinner. Want to share a spider? Hot?
Ew!
It's actually really good, the flavor. Okay. Huh? I can see why you're into this.
Like, they can't be serious.
And the lie detector has determined that that was a lie.
That cannot be
It's hard
real.
to chew. Yeah. Scorpion. Like chips. Yeah.
I like some flavor.
Yeah. Many surprises.
There she is posing with the plate of insects at the end. Salma Hayek also has promoted eating crickets.
Is this like they were taking all of your 90s sex symbols and being like, we are going to beat this into you?
You got to use sex to sell the idea of incorporating bugs into your diet, don't they?
No.
Yeah, there's the still of her with her tongue out. The cricket is, right there. That's incredible. She posted that on Instagram back in 2015. They're called chapulines. They're toasted crickets with lime and chili. She says she grew up eating insects in Mexico.
Of course she did.
She explained their cultural role as a tasty, protein-packed snack and encouraged her followers to try them, tying it into sustainability. Her promotion has helped destigmatize bugs in Western diets.
Why does everything need to be destigmatized?
Is that
why? I'm done with I like the meme. It says we've normalized enough. It's time to
they want
paranormalize.
to price ordinary people in the West out of meat in their diets.
And is
That's
that
really
the
what
angle
it is.
now where they're going to say this is part of decolonization? As like you need to be eating bugs? Like,
Right, if you don't,
works
if
for
you
the third
think that
world.
eating bugs is gross, that means that you're racist and xenophobic.
That's the angle they're going to go with.
Zac Efron has
All
also
right.
eaten insects multiple times, and he also convinced George Lopez to try a cricket. He described them as not bad and has spoken about their eco-friendly protein potential in interviews, positioning them as a smart alternative to meat for health-conscious eaters.
I remember this study from 2023. 12% of Americans, mostly men, are eating half our beef supply. And we're never changing.
I mean, it is true that a lot of processed foods have fragments of insects in them because of the factories.
Or what is the other thing? It's like chocolate has like spider legs.
A
in them.
certain benchmark that they have from the FDA.
Like you can have 7 legs per something in each. Yeah.
Right.
No way that's provable. And Shailene Woodley is another actress. She has called insects the future of food. She says that she has eaten ants and June bugs for their protein, calcium, zinc, and iron content.
Deport.
In a 2017 discussion, she advocated for, and by the way, this is the technical term, entomophagy as an eco-conscious choice, noting its lower greenhouse gas emissions compared to livestock. Her endorsement focuses on sustainability and nutrition. That's what it's all about. Bringing down those emissions and going green. And of course, that only means that your quality of life has to diminish. They don't have to make such sacrifices.
Yeah, well, see, the thing is, when they're telling you about climate justice, this is what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, it's climate justice for thee, but not for me.
Mm-hmm. And there are even more examples. Robert Downey Jr. says that he adds mealworm larvae powder to his protein shakes for high-quality insect protein.
I think he's a vegetarian.
He promoted, I don't think he's vegan anymore, but he was vegan at one point. He promoted in 2020 via his Footprint Coalition, funding insect farming technology. He frames it as a planet-saving habit.
Somebody said, Brett, isn't Shailene Woodley American? Deport anyways!
Deport. Thank you. Gordon Ramsay has also featured insect dishes on his show.
You got to
His recipes.
some type of like, what? Is that supposed to be like credibility because he's a chef?
Yeah, that's he's
He's
a
called
traitor.
crickets a delicious, sustainable protein source.
He's not even giving his kids their inheritance. Like, am I supposed to trust this guy?
Lupita Nyong'o ate ants on camera for a project highlighting their nutrient profile.
That I can believe if she said she grew up eating. I might be like, yeah, it's probably right.
Drew Barrymore has discussed trying insect snacks positively on her talk show, emphasizing their low-carb, high-protein benefits. These endorsements appear in media campaigns, social media, and shows, and studies show they can boost willingness to try insect foods by up to 20 to 30%, especially when matched to audience demographics. So they use actors for female audiences, athletes for male audiences to make it more convincing. While some view this as a push from global agendas like the World Economic Forum's sustainable protein goals, the celebrities themselves stress the health and environmental perks. If you're curious, cricket flour protein bars are a popular entry point. If you're just looking to get into entomophagy.
I am never going to be woke and bug pilled. You're not going to do that. I'm never going to be.
Eat the bugs. I will not live in the pod.
I am never going to be cricket maxing.
It's just not the vibe. Justin Timberlake is another one in this list. He actually I think in 2018 included a specially curated menu of insects at his album release party. As hors d'oeuvres made of ants.
That feels like betrayal. Timberlake was supposed to be on our side. The swagged out white boy. And if he flipped, anyone would flip.
Kanye West actually shared in 2018 that he was celebrating his father's cancer recovery with a plate of fried insects.
That's on brand.
He said, "Overcome fear. My dad and I are going to eat this plate of bugs to celebrate him beating cancer. No more fear."
That's on brand.
I don't know what that has to do with recovering from cancer. It seems like a punishment, actually. But yeah, that's all of the examples that I could find. I'm sure there are more. Definitely seems like a coordinated effort. It seems like predictive programming on their part. I think that there are a lot of post-apocalyptic and apocalyptic stories that are told by Hollywood. And stories increasingly about political violence as well. One battle after another, civil war, and even Eddington.
Hollywood did the big ass. They're like, you can eat the brains like in The Walking Dead, or you can eat the bugs. I guess you're going to have to be okay with the bugs.
I'm just wondering, like, is this working on anybody? Is anybody watching Angelina Jolie eat a tarantula and thinking, like, that could be me?
I think it's kind of like the theory of regular advertising, which is like you don't expect somebody to watch it and then say, you know what I think? I'm going to go eat a bug right now.
But
the idea is
framing it as aspirational because look at all of these elite, beautiful people who are doing it.
Yeah.
The reality is I doubt that they actually put this into practice off camera. I mean, I don't think it's such a far-fetched idea that they are actually doing the bidding of a lot of these NGOs, and that includes the World Economic Forum. There are drawn up plans for making meat consumption out of reach for middle-class people in the West in the future decades.
I don't know if they were, even if they were eating it on camera, there's a lot of editing. Like, so, you know the lady...
She's like,
and then it cuts angles.
So
it's
good.
like the when I send you the videos of the lady who does the ridiculous cooking where she makes like monster donuts, like Monster Energy drink bagels.
Yes.
What she does is when she makes the particularly gross one, she definitely like it cuts to her like holding it by her face and chewing like.
Didn't she also make Mountain Dew sourdough bread?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound too bad.
That I would try.
Yeah.
I would not try spiders.
That lady's hilarious. But it's like, okay, so it's like that one girl, like I forget her name, Galverse Food or whatever, where she eats like, she mukbangs in her car. She eats like 30 donuts at one time. And she's like, she posts the clipped version on Instagram so that people go like, oh, she's not eating it. She's like, look at all the cuts. She's like, and then she's like, it's linked to her, the full length 30-minute YouTube video where you can watch her eat the whole thing.
No, I believe that's real. I mean, the craziest way that they try to convince people this is okay, this is normal and desirable, is that they compare it to like eating lobster. Because lobsters are just underwater animals. They're just insects, but bigger.
Yeah.
I'm not buying it.
All right.
Sorry.
Let's go Super Chats.
Username I'm not going to read said, I'll tell you how that went in my school. If you don't want to pay attention in class, you can leave. K-bye. Well, I mean, at my school, it would literally just be that you're expelled and that's it. You know, if you want to behave, it was the mentality was if you want to behave like a public school kid, you can go to public school. There's always that
Us
option.
public school kids were not to be desired.
Right.
Well, it's true. I'm sure that teaching at a public school is hell compared to the experience that my teachers had. Because, you know, if your parents are paying for you to have that privilege of being at a private school, you have to take it seriously or else you're not allowed in the community.
You gotta lock in.
Burned Oil said, Mary, I did buy your coffee and I've been drinking it all day. Now I feel my heart pumping through my ears. Is that normal? Still drinking while bossing kids?
Just drink more. If you feel something wrong, just drink more.
The cure for an overdose of Mary's Ghost Blend is actually more Mary's Ghost Blend.
I heard if your heart beats fast enough, it just like to your ears, it sounds like it's slowing down.
Yeah, once you double, it's like BPM. Once you double it up, then you
Right.
can actually halftime it. So.
That's not an endorsement. Don't do that. Like if your heart is pumping really hard, eat something and like take some deep breaths and stop it.
Okay,
you had to kill the fun there.
Yeah,
Corey Anderson said Kendrick Lamar hates white people. It was a setup. Yeah,
Yeah, he
it
does.
was.
He,
He
very
knew what he was
resentful,
doing.
man.
Brian Bledsoe said, possible that conservatives reject the community parenting concept because of Hillary's "it takes a village" mantra regarding kids, and Dems using that as a means of government control of their kids. Yeah, it was never intended to mean that the government parents your kids. It means like the other people in your neighborhood, in your larger local community, and your family extended across generations. It never meant public school teachers should have the same level of authority as parents. But that's a clever rhetorical trick that they pulled.
Yeah, people on right-wing Twitter also took the multi-generational stuff too far, like a few years ago. It's like it's fair to say like the nuclear family as a unit is what's created such prosperity thus far. So it's like, okay, yes, your grandparents should be present in your life, more present than they are right now. But yeah, some people are doing like full endorsements of multi-generational living that just reflected like non-Western civilization.
Well, it's definitely not Anglo-Saxon.
Yeah, people took it way too far for a while. So there's that to be said as well.
Corey Anderson said, the more AI, the better. Put actors out of work.
Look, I can't ascribe to that. Like I said, it's the duality of man. I get annoyed when they say fuck AI because I think they sound dorky and you want to shove them in a locker.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that there is humanity needed to bring the craft to life in a lot of ways. I don't want to see that relegated to bots and some algorithmic summation of a lifetime of performances. So
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, I'm weirded out by kids calling parents by their names. If I used my parents' names instead of Pop or Papa or Mama, I would have gotten my ass beat. Yeah, I think I met like one girl who said that she calls her parents by their first names, and I was like, you're a freak.
Yeah, I remember this. I knew a girl that did the same thing.
Bizarre.
Also, there was a thing for a while growing up. I don't know if this happened around your neck of the woods, but people would be like, hey, Mrs. Tate's mom, or hey, Mr. Tate's dad.
I remember that too.
And I was like, that seems more disrespectful than if you just said my mom's name.
No, I think it's cute.
It's cute, but like it was just weird for a while. It's like, just learn our last name.
I've heard that now the Gen Alphas who are in like preschools and daycares, they don't know their own names.
Really?
Like they genuinely like have no idea what their own legal name is.
Well, it's kind of like
they don't respond to it.
Those videos of dogs where you like actually like, oh, what if my dog never actually knew my name? And you're like, hello, my name's Tate, and they go like, "Rrr."
Like even a dog knows its own name.
Yeah.
We have a generation that doesn't.
Crazy.
Brian Bledsoe said, best Christmas commercial is the brother-sister Folgers who love each other a little too much. Okay, my hot take on that is honestly the Folgers commercial was not what y'all cracked it up to be. It really wasn't that weird. I don't know, like they hugged and that was it. Like what was so weird about that?
I don't even remember this.
I think you guys are like reading into it because your minds are in the gutter, but the Folgers commercial was not that bad.
That was so when I found the Cheerios commercial and then the M&M's commercial, then that one was like right underneath there.
Am I wrong? Like I just feel like the original Folgers commercial was not at all what people made it out to be.
It was weird.
I don't think it was weird. Eazy-E said, replacing iconic commercials with AI is literally burning money for no reason. You already have them made. Just reuse them. It's free. Yeah. Just
especially given how much nostalgia matters to millennials. Like that M&M's commercial is going to work just as much now as it did 20 years ago.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know why they don't do that. Shane H. Wilder said, I can't stand AI videos. The most I've used is some text-to-speech to get a specific voice. Most of the AI I see is just slop. You lose the creativity. I agree. Pop Culture Junkie said, when you're both discussing what you're going to include in the show, how often have you had the are we beating a dead horse discussion? Every day.
It depends on...
Every day to different degrees, but like with the Sydney Sweeney thing, I was just like, okay, like, how many months has it been? I don't even know. I don't have a good sense of time. The commercial happened. All she said is that she doesn't really care, and we also don't care. So what else is there to say?
If there was still a hunger for people to hear about it, I'm not going to lie, we'd cover it. Like, if the videos did good numbers and people still had an interest in hearing every update to it, we would probably talk about it. But it's like, this isn't life or death here. We're not talking about stuff that's changing the world. So we have the ability to be like, I don't know. I set it aside because I pulled up the data with her, like what the jean sales or like the numbers did for American Eagle, with the possibility that maybe I would cover it for the weekend update or something. But
for me, like, people being interested in something actually makes it more interesting. Like, that is a huge part of what makes something interesting. And I don't think people are interested in the American Eagle discourse anymore.
There's a lot of stuff that I find interesting that just doesn't, like, and maybe it's just because we haven't cultivated the audience for it, but I followed everything to do with Paramount's Paramount's merger with Skydance and David Ellison closely, the exit of Taylor Sheridan from Skydance Paramount to go over to NBC Universal. And like I said, that stuff's fun for the weekend stuff, but like the segments just aren't going to do that well because we aren't a channel that's necessarily considered a place you go for that type of coverage. But I do find it interesting. Doesn't mean other people do.
Shane H. Wilder said, you didn't dress up, so you are a Fed. Okay, the Fed costume was a recycled costume, and I don't even consider it a costume because it was a hat. Like, it's not really a high investment. Corey Anderson said, eating living creatures is an affront to God. It is disrespectful to the animal, and it should never be done. It is what animals do, not humans. Gross. So it would be fine if the insects were dead already, but it's wrong to eat them while they're still alive, is your take.
That's
an interesting take. I mean, I don't know. I guess I wouldn't eat something that's already, like, that's still living, but more because of my own disgust factor than anything. Brian Bledsoe said, bugs in Australia are big enough to be animals. Yeah, that's like kind of the number one reason why I wouldn't visit Australia. Second being, I'm worried about them putting me in the gulag.
That's why Nicole Kidman is like, oh, is this it? Okay.
Yeah,
because aren't Australians infamous for like their carefulness around bugs, and the fact that she's popping them like Tic Tacs is
are they like
she's been American?
Well, because they're just like, oh, every bug's trying to kill me.
Yeah,
which is objectively true. So that shows that maybe she's been stateside.
They're in an
for too
open air
long.
prison over there.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, Woodley eating bugs is not surprising. She also eats clay and makes her own medicine. Gross.
Cool.
She's always been more of the hippie type. I don't know whatever happened to her.
Who was the one that was married to Aaron Rodgers?
I'm not sure. She kind of fell off after The Fault in Our Stars, though, right? Never saw her in anything else. Hiroshima Otaru said, chili lime is the worst. That is all. I don't have anything against it, personally.
Oh, they were she was engaged to Aaron Rodgers, but ended their relationship in February of 2022.
Okay, based. Ending an engagement is based.
That's kind of hardcore, yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Because you realized that you were in the wrong relationship before it was too late.
She's like, oh, his vaccine skepticism was a bit too much for me. I gotta go.
Dingus Khan of Gongolia said, a bug flew in my mouth once while riding my bike. That's about all the bugs I plan to eat in my life.
Yep.
Yeah. Robert?
I ate a worm when I was a kid, and I remember that.
Why?
'Cause everyone was doing it.
Everyone was doing it?
It was the hot thing, yeah.
Well, if your friend
would jump off a bridge, would you do it too?
You know, I ended up okay, I think. It's good for the immune system, for sure.
Robert Delara said, if all the bug-eating celebrities want to save the environment, they can start by eating all the lanternflies here on the East Coast.
Yes.
Yeah, they're a scourge.
Well,
they
I didn't know about it. I was walking down the street, and the guy in front of me just like looked down for a second and just violently stomped on a bug, and I was like, this guy's like a crazy person. And then I go up and I see it's a lanternfly. My buddy's like, oh yeah, like they told you to kill them. But for that split second, I was like, this guy is a monster.
It's biological warfare.
Yeah.
Seriously, I think they came over on like shipping containers from China.
Go figure.
They're taking over the ecosystem. Greg Duvier said, what a disappointment for these adopted kids. Kid, I got adopted by a rich person. That means I don't need to eat bugs anymore. Wait, why am I still eating bugs? I thought rich people eat steak.
That's the price you pay for the trust fund.
Yeah.
Right.
Gordon Shumway said, these are the same idiots that preached reversing overpopulation for decades. Now we are about to start seeing the negative effects of declining birth rates. I will not eat bugs, you elitist schmucks. Yeah, to be fair, though, the population would have declined had they spread propaganda about overpopulation or not. Because that's just what happens when countries modernize and industrialize.
Yeah.
Seems like it's just a condition of modern life. No Control said, my grandma accepted bad grades, but not bad behavior. She said, if you're too stupid to learn, you can keep your mouth shut so other kids can learn. That's how I felt in class.
I feel like that's advice my parents would have given me.
When kids would misbehave or talk in class, I would get pissed. Because I wasn't like a teacher's pet, but I was like, I am here to learn after all. Like, I don't have a choice in the matter. Oscar Regalado said, Folgers Coffee Christmas ad is top tier.
I gotta watch it now.
I don't know. If it's as gross as you people say, I don't endorse this message. Corey Anderson said eating bugs is disgusting as well.
Yep.
No one's disputing that.
And one more.
Shane H. Wilder said you ate a worm. What if that worm was your GF? LOL.
It's a very salient question, yeah.
He'd still love her, of course.
That's a question for the ages.
All right, guys, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Please do that. Tate, where can they find you?
You can follow me on X and Instagram, and Pop Culture is getting the first announcement, so buckle up here. Me and Connor Tomlinson. I don't know if you know Connor Tomlinson. He's a friend of the show, British Zoomer commentator. Very conservative. He's a great guy. Me and him are launching a series on the weekends for the Culture War channel. And on Saturdays, it'll be an hour of news, 30 minutes of American-centric news, 30 minutes of British-centric news. So it's going to be really exciting. And then on Sundays, we'll be joined by a guest, and we'll have a discussion around a topic. So it's going to be really exciting stuff. We're launching it this upcoming weekend. And if you have any ideas for any guests you would like to see or any topics you would like to see discussed, shoot them my way on X, and I'll take a look. Also, you're going to be doing the Discord. It's true. Oh, right. Yes, yes. Yeah. And then also tonight, we will be doing a Discord pre-show. So we're going to be I'll be hanging out with the Discord peeps. So come hang out tonight. Come join in, and we'll chop it up. What time is that? I think it's at 6 p.m. It's late. Or 6:30. 6:30 sounds right. It's definitely, the info's in the Discord, and if you're not in the Discord, go join and come hang out. I'll see you guys there. All right.
Exciting. You guys should go get Mary's Ghost Blend. It's currently up on castbrew.com, and use code TURKEY20 for 20% off. You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. And help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived. So one more super chat here from Pop Culture Junkie. Favorite line in the Firefly Serenity movie uttered by actress Summer Glau: I swallowed a bug. My dog stepped on a bee. Oh, I forgot about that one. Guys, if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. This show is 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch the show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. It's another great way you can help this channel out. If you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. Guys, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then. Bye. Bye, everybody.